Hello and welcome to Nurse Amy. If you're watching this on YouTube, this is Nurse Amy. And then if it's you're listening to it on my podcast, it's Nurse Amy Online. And I have today with me my favorite people. I have KALEY. Hey, KALEY. And then I have Anna. Anna, how are you?
Hi, I'm
Thank
great.
you. Thank you for coming to hang with me today. I'm so excited. It's a Sunday and we're just going to be chilling and hanging out. So, KALEY is a pre-PA student, right?
Mhm.
And she's done the CNA program. And I also have Anna, who's a nursing student. So, first of all, I'm just going to throw the question out there. Why the choice of your career? KALEY, why did you choose PA? Why are you going the PA route?
Um, I guess it's just I thought about my future and wanting to have a family, and I feel like the PA route was the best for me, also because of how flexible it is and how I can change professions. If I don't like one, I can go to another. I'm not stuck, I guess, and I won't be out of school when I'm like my early 30s. I'll be out when I'm in my mid 20s, which is what I really want. I don't care about the pay or anything like that. I mean, I think just like the length of the schooling is really what caught my attention about
It's not
what.
the pay, right? It's not the pay. There's nothing wrong with the pay though, but you're
Mhm.
more about leaving school in time to start family and your
Mhm.
life and things like that, as opposed to what other profession?
um I don't know, I really like the pre-health, and I think I'd rather do PA over nursing, just like personally. I don't know. I did a little bit of research on it. I should have probably looked into nurse practitioner a little more because I know they're very similar. Um, but I guess I just really, I mean, I have a major. I'm kinesiology, and I guess I like taking these different classes rather than doing pre-nursing during my undergrad. I'd rather just do something where if I decide not to do PA, I'm not stuck. I'm not
Hmm.
just I can go any track I really want to. I
So,
could even go pre-law with a kinesiology major if I wanted to, but I think I'd rather just do the pre-PA for now.
cool. You have it all planned out.
I do.
And it's going to work out. It's going to work out. And Anna, you are going to be nursing like me. So let's push KALEY aside right now. Let's talk about nursing. Why did you pick nursing?
So I chose nursing because, well, I've always knew
We're losing your voice.
that I wanted to do something in the medical field, and I'm sorry.
No, you kind of went out for a bit. If you could say
Oh,
that again,
sure.
because it's like you disappeared the
Yeah.
volume.
So I always knew from when I was young that I wanted to be in the medical field, working in the medical field, and my sister is actually a nurse as well. So she kind of inspired me to start nursing. She has like a pretty flexible schedule,
Mm,
um, and so nice pay, and she's told me a lot of stories about how she's been dealing with patients and how she's helped them and really affected their lives. And she's had a lot of patients come back to her and say like, thank you and for being so kind and stuff. So I just want to be like another person that a good person in the medical field that can help people and people that can help people feel comfortable around, so that because a lot of people can feel nervous going to the hospital after surgery or whatever, and so I want to make them feel comfortable after that.
that's cool. That's really good. It's yeah, it's let me tell you why I'm hesitating. See, we all go into the healthcare field because we really want to help. See, we want to make a difference. We want to, and that's something I share with my students and even those that are not my students, that in the healthcare field with nursing and all the other healthcare departments, we go in because we care. We go in because it's, to me, it's actually a calling, because there's so many things that happen that really frustrate people, you know, and then turns them into something they didn't think that they could be, because with this job comes a lot of frustration, you know, so you really have to be willing and be able to sacrifice time, energy to give back in a good way, you know. So again, it's very fulfilling when you see that you make an impact in people's lives. So I really commend you guys wanting to follow that field. Having said that, with the corona thing, you know, a lot of healthcare workers fell sick. It was in the news, you know, because they're in the front line. Does that, and every time there is going to be a, oh God, I hope we don't have a crisis like this again. But usually when there's a crisis, there's infection, there's a breakout of anything, we are the frontliners, nurses, PA, nurse practitioners, doctors, you know, EMTs. Are you scared about those things? I mean, has that wavered your interest in, because you will always be frontline workers? How do you feel about that, KALEY?
Oh,
Go ahead, KALEY.
I think, you know, if you want to do the pre-health route, if you want to do something in healthcare, you have to think about predicaments such as coronavirus. I mean, anything could happen in this world today. I feel like you have to know, you know, you're risking your life, you know, just taking care of people, and you have to realize you're being exposed to a bunch of different things, diseases and or pandemic like this one.
Right.
And I mean, you have to, you can't be afraid to put yourself in that sort of position. You know, if that's something you're really passionate about, you shouldn't, I mean, it's a little scary, but you know that you're helping someone and you're helping to save lives. And I think that, you know, if that's what you really want to do, then this shouldn't be a huge, you know, it shouldn't be a
It
huge
shouldn't deter you. Okay, I hear
right.
you. Yeah, Anna, do you believe that too?
Yeah, I agree with KALEY. I think that, you know, you should know the risks going into whatever career you choose. But I really think it's inspiring, all the healthcare workers that are working right now. So kudos to them. That's awesome. And I think that I would probably be more worried if I had a family of my own and I knew that they would be greatly affected by coronavirus. But you know, right now I don't have a family yet, so, and I'm just starting my nursing career. So um, yeah, I don't have like much of concerns about it right now, but I'm sure I will down the road.
So you're saying, so just to piggyback off what you're saying, and there's a reason why I'm asking you, Anna. So you're saying if you had like your own husband, you know, children, then if a pandemic happened, you probably will be more concerned being in the front line, right?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I wouldn't want my kids to be exposed to all that.
Exposed
But
to it. And again, I admire
yeah,
that. And
but
I'll
I
tell you
mean,
why. Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
oh yeah, I don't know. I've seen a lot of healthcare workers right now having to stay away from their families and staying like in a different house or whatever. So I would probably incline to do that as well, just to keep them safe. But yeah.
So in one of my classes, KALEY, this is after maybe the class after yours, I'm not exactly sure, but there was someone who, I mean, she passed through the CNA program. She did well. She was fine and everything. But she said the corona, you know, this whole lockdown has made her think differently about going into healthcare. And that's why I was asking you guys. She's like, well, you know, she wants to care for people and everything, but she's thinking that there are other ways to do that because the pandemic has really scared her. And well, for this one, she's actually married, she's got kids. And she said, yes, she already signed up for the class and she went through it, but she thinks she's not going to work with it. And I asked her, you know, the pandemic will go away, hopefully. But what she's like, she thinks because it's something she and the husband had to seriously talk about. So for some people, I guess it's a thing, you know, because she said she doesn't think, and she and the husband was talking about it, like, because she was working in a nursing home as hospitality, before the CNA, and she stopped. Again, because she's got kids, the husband, she was like, it's something we're seriously thinking about, that moving forward, she doesn't think she's going to do direct care, so to speak, work with patients. There might be other things. So, and then we talked about it. She asked me what are the things she can do. And I know you have call centers, you have different places that, you don't necessarily have direct care with people. She's like, that's the only way she's going to remain in healthcare, because she's not going to do direct care. Do you think that makes her a bad person? Or, I mean, what do you think? What's your take on that?
I don't think that makes her a bad person at all. I feel like, if maybe for some people this coronavirus, COVID, has really opened a lot of people's eyes to maybe if something like this happens down the line when they have a family, they don't want to put themselves in that position. I totally understand that. Everyone is different. Everyone, thinks about this stuff differently. So honestly, I was like, that's a huge decision to make. I mean, if you're already this far along, you're like, I can't do it. I have so much respect for her. That's such a hard decision to make. And, again, everyone's different. So I don't even know if I can make that decision right now. I guess me not having kids and a family,
it's a different dynamic, Anna, right? Because just like what Anna said, like, if for right now she's not thinking that way, but if she had a family, then it's a different dynamic. And this girl was visibly scared.
Yeah.
I mean, even in class, she was so uncomfortable, because we have to wear the masks, we have to wash our hands. And every time she's, you could tell that. And she's like, she actually thought about stopping the program. And we had the talk, and I'm like, go over what we talked about with your husband. And of course, it's about you. I can't make decisions for you. But then she came back and said, he's said for me to, go through the program since I already started it. But it's just too much risk. I don't think I can do. I will not be going, doing the healthcare route. And again, you have to respect people's decisions. Like I said, doing healthcare is a calling. It really is. It's a mission, because a lot of times you feel unappreciated. You feel you just don't have that gratification that you expect. And I'm sure Anna, your sister, will tell you that there are days when you just want to go in there and fight everyone. If it's not the patients, it's your colleagues, it's the system in place. But you have to love what you're doing. Eventually, that's what keeps you going, And so talking about the lockdown, what have you guys been doing aside from going to CNA program? I mean, okay, before we get there, how was your experience with the CNA program, Anna?
Oh, I had a great experience. The class was really interesting. I enjoyed learning the new skills and just learning about a different career path. And I think that it was a good experience for me as well, just to get an idea of what nursing is going to be like. So as I start my nursing career,
So before your CNA program, did you have any kind of exposure to healthcare, nursing home, hospitals? Have you worked in any of those settings?
No, I have not worked in a nursing home before. So yeah, it was a new experience.
It was new. Okay.
For me.
Okay. KALEY, what about you? How was the CNA program with you?
I really enjoyed it a lot. I had a great teacher, obviously. I was very scared at first. First of all, the door incident where I kept
my God.
And they were
that?
No, what is this?
Let's go. Tell them what happened.
So the first day I got there a little early. I get really stressed out when I don't want to be late for the first day, obviously. All the doors were locked except for I think like one. Yes. So I tried to open every single other door, and I didn't know that. I mean, Nurse Amy, she was in the parking lot, and I didn't know that she was the instructor.
I was just watching her, like, Oh my God, she's trying everything. I'm like, oh my God, she's probably one of mine. And then later on, I saw her in my class, like, yes, she's one
It's
of
probably
mine.
one.
Oh.
Yeah, I did. I watched she
Oh,
tried one,
no.
she tried the other, she tried. I'm like, oh God. But no, you had no way of knowing that. You had no way of knowing. And that was just the heart. That was the heart of the lockdown, because that was the first week that they locked. The week, the class before that, the doors were open, but it was that first class with you was when they had all the doors, and that was the middle of just that lockdown when everyone was scared and
Mhm.
didn't know what to do and what have you. But anyway, yeah, so you were saying, so how was your experience?
It was scary at first. I didn't know really what to expect. But it got easier as the class went along. I don't know. I feel like going into it, I didn't really have a lot of confidence. Like you mentioned it a few times with my skills. I was so scared to mess up, but by the end, I felt pretty confident in what I was doing, and I passed. It wasn't as hard as I expected it to be at all. It was nice. Good
That's cool.
experience.
That's
Mhm.
cool. Well, thank you. That's cool. So, aside from going to CNA program, what have you guys been up to since the lock? Now you've been home since when? March, or
Yeah.
what have you been doing, Anna? Aside from going to CNA school.
I've been just taking classes at Wright State, and
Mm,
so all of that has been moved to remote learning as well. So it's been interesting, that's for sure. It was difficult to get used to just like Zoom meetings and everything at first because we didn't really know how to work this. Like now it's like so common, we're using it for everything. So, but yeah, it was definitely difficult at first. Um, and I think that one of the most challenging things school-wise has been like missing out on labs and like hands-on work.
mm,
Even with the CNA program, not being able to go to the clinical settings in the nursing homes. I wish I would have gotten that opportunity, but I understand, we can't go in there right now. Yeah, it's been interesting for sure, a new dynamic, and I think that we're going to be looking at doing remote learning for this fall semester too. So it'll be a new normal for us.
hmm. Interesting. Interesting. What about you, Kaylee? What have you been up to?
I worked for a little bit at the pool store,
Yeah.
and I took an online class. I took Gen Chem 2 through Wright State, and it was hard to navigate. I didn't know how anything worked online. It was very challenging, but once I got the hang of it, like Anna said, it's becoming a new normal. So it was pretty easy toward the end, but now I'm just waiting. I move in to school in a week, so I'm just
Mm.
anxious. I'm waiting, anxious to do that. So
So do you think that when you move into school, it's still going to be remote learning?
yeah, I have lab in person and a weightlifting workout class for my major in person, but other than that, organic chemistry is online, physiology is online, and I'm very nervous for those. I don't know how that's going to work. I'm a very hands-on person when it comes to learning, so I'm very, very nervous for how that's going to play out. I mean, it's so stressful, and I get so anxious taking these classes. I'm very scared for all of this.
Because that's the one thing I keep hearing, the remote learning, going online, doing the Zoom thing, which, by the way, I wish I'd come up with this Zoom idea. I mean, seriously, everybody's on Zoom. Can you
Yeah.
imagine how much money this person is making?
Oh, I
And
know.
let me
Yeah.
come down to earth. But that's the one thing everybody I've talked to, including my daughter, everyone, is this whole what's going to happen, it's still so iffy, going back to school, for the public schools, for the universities, it's like, what is going to happen? And one thing that I keep getting back from people is people don't like the online learning. People are still trying to figure out how to navigate it. And people think it's much work. And I will tell you, it's on both sides. You have the students complaining, and then you have the instructors, the lecturers, the profs. They all complaining like, this is work. And you need to understand a lot of these people were not techie, savvy. I'm not, so. And that's the thing they'll complain about, like, they don't know what's going to happen, people moving back to campus. But that's the part I don't get though. So you move back, you go on, back to school. Then what's the point of being in school if you cannot, I mean, for you have two classes that you have to be there physically present, but there are people, it's all online. So why are they still being charged? Do you see what I'm saying? I mean, this is things I'm hearing from different students. What's your take on that, Anna? What do you think? I mean, you're going to be commuting to school, I think, from home, or you're going to?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So
yeah, I'm staying at home and commuting. Well, so far, I will only be going in for one lab, and it's only one day a week. So, yeah, I'll just have to commute for that. But yeah, if I was staying on campus, yeah, I don't know how they justify like paying or asking kids to pay like full tuition if things will be different, or they'll be sent home or something like that. Because I know that they were sent home in the spring, and I think that some universities reimburse the students and some didn't. So I don't know how they'll be handling that.
So what do you think, KALEY? Do you think, I mean, I don't know. I don't want you to go up. I don't need to know the personal aspect of yours, but my thing is, if there's going to be remote learning with Zoom and what have you, for those people who majority of their classes is online, why are they moving back to campus?
I think that universities, it just depends on where you go. At least for me, they're not, I feel like they should be reimbursing just a little more. It's very expensive because you're not getting the hands-on learning that you would normally have. It's almost not fair. I don't know. At least I looked into, if I were to go to a community college for this semester, I would lose my academic scholarship. I would lose my spot in my sorority. There's so many factors that I have to think about. I would love to go to a community college for this semester, but I can't if I want to go back to school. It's very frustrating. Very frustrating with all of this.
It is. My last class, there's a student going to one of the colleges, and she's like, they're going to do a hybrid, where, what is that?
Hybrid is basically a class is, sometimes it's in person, sometimes it's online. But I feel like a lot of these universities, I read online on one of the social media apps I was on, that a lot of universities are saying that, but I think they're going to be online. I think they're just saying that to comfort the students. I'm not really exactly sure, though. I keep reading all these.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of stories about that too. I think some are saying that they're doing hybrid just to get people to like keep going to the university, and then once school actually starts, they're going to say, oh no, we're doing everything remotely. So I don't know if that's true. I hope it's not true, because that's too bad. But
yeah, that's why I asked, because I didn't know what it was. It was just conflicting information, and so no one knew. But what she was saying is that she thinks, I mean, she's going in the fall, but she thinks that they're not, she thinks the school will be closed. She thinks eventually they're just going to have people go back home, and she's anxious. That's what she's thinking, like, just the way you're saying it, what's this hybrid? What are they talking about? Maybe it's just to make us feel good. That's what she said. And you're saying the same thing. She's thinking that eventually they're probably just going to ask everyone, just like what they did in the springtime. Like, hey, look, but it's just to give you that hope, to say, to make you feel there's a sense of normalcy, if you will. because right now from the public schools, well, in the state we're living in, I think they're saying they're not even going to open. I think so, something like that. I'm not sure. Maybe some other states.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, it's both ways. I have friends that are teachers. Some are scared of going back. They're scared of going back because it's so iffy. They're thinking, how can you maintain the the social distancing? You're dealing with kids. How are you gonna? It's not gonna work. And they're all scared about bringing things back home to family.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of them are. So it's crazy times we live in. It's
I
crazy
know.
times we live in.
And tomorrow I actually have to go get a COVID test because in order to be on campus, I have to get tested for COVID. But I'm like, what if all these students test positive and they don't know that they have COVID? What's going to happen then? I have no idea what they're going to do. So,
I mean, if they test positive, they're not allowed back in.
right.
They tell them to self-quarantine, which no one's monitoring,
Mm-hmm.
And then usually after you've tested positive, you should have 2 negatives after that. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And people are like, at this point, everyone's going to be positive. That's what everyone is saying. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, it's just that. It's so iffy. It's so iffy. Anyway, let's just leave COVID alone. COVID will, we're fine. We'll, God is keeping us all safe.
Mm-hmm.
Something I've been wanting to ask you guys. My daughter is also in science. She's in science. You all know she's pre-med. She's doing that whole, it doesn't matter what I preach to her. She's stuck in her thing, and that's fine. That's okay. She's driven that way, and that's good. But my thing, something I started to actually this past vacation, I've like myself, my husband, and her friend vacation together in Florida. And one of the things we were talking about is that we don't have enough females in the healthcare industry, meaning there's still, as much as, well, yeah, you have more nurses in nursing. More nurses, what am I saying? More women in nursing. But overall, I think it's still pretty much a male-dominated career. Do you guys agree with that? That is pretty much male dominant. Why is that? Why is that? I'm gonna ask Anna. Why do you think so? If you agree.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. I think probably see more males in like the doctor roles in the medical field. I'm thinking maybe because of like the stigma of how girls or females should stay home and like with the kids and stuff, or not take so much time for themselves to work through school. I think that stigma has probably contributed to that factor. I'm not sure.
Interesting. KALEY, what do you think?
I agree with Anna, but also I feel like still, even in 2020, women we feel like men are always like, I don't even know how to explain it. I think that women are underappreciated in a lot of like bigger upper professions like doctors or lawyers. We're seen as not as, I don't know if it's intelligence or that we're not, I don't know. I feel like it definitely has to do with the history of men working and women being at home seen as maybe like more like to take care of the children or to do around that like housework. I don't really know. Honestly, I feel like at some point though, like a lot, like you want to feel, I think we want to feel equal. I mean, there's still a little bit of a pay gap in 2020. There's a lot of different factors that maybe make us feel inferior to men. I really don't know. It's I guess it depends on who you talk to. I'm not really sure why a lot of women feel like that or why it's like that.
Yeah, and you both make I like to talk to younger women because again, I think because you're the generation coming up, and I think it's going to fall on you guys, to change things, and that discussion needs to be had, because more and more women are going into the workforce.
Mhm.
But there's a point you guys made, and I've seen that in my generation where women are the homemakers, so it's not easy for women to juggle work and family. There's that guilt factor because you always feel like, oh, you're not giving enough at home, because I think society, one, and maybe also it's the way we're wired. Once babies come, our whole thinking changes. We make those sacrifices that men will not make.
Mhm.
They won't, So I don't know. It's interesting to see that dynamic or that paradigm is going to shift or change, especially with you guys, because women are more and more going out. However, there's still that, difference, So I just think it's a combination of things, that's true, but I'm just curious to see if it's going to change, Women, I can tell you right now, I mean, the two of you don't have kids, but I can tell you when you start having kids, it's just a thing. It changes. It's your thinking just changes. The kids almost always come first, always, and it starts to affect your career. It affects. You will find that a lot of successful women, it almost seems you can't balance the two of them. It's something women, I'm telling you, before me and my generation, and hopefully maybe not so much with you guys, but when kids come, and we also sacrifice for our men, for the men in our lives. We do, we tend to dump down so they can excel, so I don't know, but it's something that have come up in conversations, and I always like to ask younger women, especially, like, what's your take on it? As much as my when I was talking with my daughter and her friends, it was like, yeah, they don't have kids, and it's like, we want to quickly do what we can before the kids come. So even they are thinking, see, that's a woman thinks that, not so much for men, I don't think, because the woman is there to take care of things, Well, I don't know. It's this conversation has been going on forever and ever and ever.
Mhm.
So let's see. What else do we have to talk about? So are you guys still pretty much with friends you met during the nursing program? Anna, were you in school with some of your friends that you knew before the CNA program? Oh, you were? Oh, okay.
Yeah, actually, some of the students in my nursing or CNA program are also in my nursing classes at my university, so it was kind of cool to see them again. I didn't know they were going to be in there, but yeah, it was a nice surprise to see them.
That's always nice. Kaylee, you came by yourself.
Mhm.
And it's so funny because after your class, then some other girls that you knew came back, came to the class. I'm like, oh, all right.
Shannon was talking about taking the class. I said, you have to go to Nurse Phoebe's class. I love this woman. I love it.
I love you too. I know when she came, she's like, I'm Kaylee's friend. I'm like, Kaylee Wolf. She's like, that's my girl. And everybody, that was the first day. And everybody just looked at me like, you're a friend? Oh, she's my friend too. Everyone's like, oh, okay. I'm like, don't be jealous. Don't be jealous. Don't be jealous.
No, I'm jealous. I should have. My class is great, but I wish I went to Nurse Amy.
Our class was fun though. It was fun. It was
Yeah.
fun, It usually starts that way because everyone's like, oh, but eventually, and I think it was your class who started doing that whole. It was your class when at the end, the final day when we, play games and just trying to make everyone, after the finals, we've been doing that. We've actually been doing that now, and I would say, it's that class. So yeah, your class. It's yeah. Do you have any questions for me?
I don't know. I feel like I'm definitely
How
gonna
have you been
be.
doing with COVID?
How have I been dealing with COVID?
Yeah, sorry. Everything's delayed.
Is that the question?
Yeah.
Okay, I will tell you this. My school never closed. It didn't, and I thought it was going to close. I'm grateful it didn't because clearly I'm working through it, so that's a good thing. And I'm getting paid, um, also a good thing. But at a point, because I've got a family, I also went through that whole period of, okay, I'm the only person leaving home and leaving the house. So I at a point really got worried, because I didn't want to bring anything home, because again, when you start school, you don't know anyone from a can of paint. You really don't. Yes, we have the masks, we have the gloves, we have the washing of hands and whatever kind of social distancing that was. But for about 2 3 months I was the only person leaving the house. So that started to dawn on me, and I started to kind of worry, like, oh, wait, oh, I've got to be extra careful, because I would feel so bad if, there was something in the house, then I know it's me. You know what I mean? So, and especially as a friend of mine, the whole family got sick because she's also a frontliner, and so that really messed with my head. However, um, if you know me, I'm all about my writing. Which, by the way, Kelly, you didn't remind me. I said I was going to send you some of my writings because I
Oh, yeah.
write, my stories. Yes, so I do that. I escape into that. I watch movies, plays. TV series and what have you, and that's something we're big on in my house. So we do a lot of that. And then we went on that vacation, which I didn't want to go. I was practically, oh, okay. I told you guys, yeah, KALEY, right? When I was leaving, eventually we ended up in Panama City Beach.
Okay.
Have you been there before? No? Do
Mm.
you know about it? Okay. Because what happened was we were going to first, oh my God, we were starting at Destin. And then we thought, okay, maybe what was the other one? Siesta Key?
Mm-hmm.
Siesta Key. Because my daughter's friend was driving from Orlando or Tampa, somewhere from there. Okay, so we're like, let's make it easy on her so she doesn't have to drive too far. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so we said Siesta Key. Okay, then on our way there, because I wasn't going to get on an airplane, I'm not ready for the airplane thing. That whole, nah, is to me, no, I can't do it. I'm just scared, you know. So we're like gonna drive, which I don't care for road trips, but it's like my husband is like, come on, they've opened up places. Yeah, Florida of all places. And I was scared because the numbers are spiking. But it's like, let's go, da da da. I'm like, okay, okay, okay. So on our way there, the condo we rented, they called and said it was flooded. So you can imagine. Now we're scrambling to find a place. So we went back to, okay, let's try and get somewhere in Destin. Everywhere was booked up.
Wow.
This is why we're going, traveling. We already started that. Oh my God, it was crazy. And then eventually we got this place in
Oh my
Panama
gosh.
City. Yeah, Panama City. And this is what I really, it was July 4th weekend. The whole of that whole Gulf Coast was all booked up. So we got this place, but it was really nice. It was nice. It was nice to get away. It's always nice to get away. But I will tell you, you could tell in Florida that we're out of towners because we always had our thing with us. And we probably looked like Martians because in Florida, they don't really care. Now, some people did, but I think pretty much the mask thing, you could tell these people were not from here. Because we still do, trying to do the whole, because I think the Florida people are not, they are in a different partying, beach, loving the air. No, no, but it was nice. It was nice. The drive was long.
Mm.
Oh, the drive was long. I didn't care for the drive. I don't really care for road trips. Not that much. I don't. It's too much work. But yeah, that's how I've coped, you know, writing, um, watching shows. I love my Netflix. You all know that. Hulu, other streaming things we do. So we totally, yeah. Talking